believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
All right, we're live right now. We're trying to get people down here to visit our buddies in the food truck, the Greek Geek food truck. Realize they didn't tell people where we are. If people have never been here like you,
it can make it a little difficult.
It can make it a little bit difficult because we are
one ways,
right,
driving around circles,
right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think most people know us as the neighborhood with the courthouses, unfortunately. But we're at 912 3rd Street Northwest, 912 3rd Street Northwest. Come on by. You can't miss our buddies in the parking lot, the Greek Geek food truck. There they are. It looks really great out there. I want to find out who did the art on it. Okay. But first things first, we got like, what is this, 6 bottles of wine here, Dana?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, 6 from 4 different wineries.
This is cool.
Yeah.
So you founded the Corrales Bike and Wine Tour, and you're the president of the Cactus Brewery.
That's correct. Yeah, yeah. And the Bike and Wine Tour, it's been around for Corrales Bike and Wine Tour. I guess we're into like our 5th year already.
It's huge.
And I host a few events around town, but this Corrales Bike and Wine Tour is by far one of the most fun and memorable events of the year.
Because there's how many wineries are there in Corrales, and how many do you visit on the tour?
There's actually 4 wineries in Corrales, and then there's one kind of right on the outskirts of Corrales, just into Rio Rancho.
Right as you go up that little hill there.
There's kind of 5 actually.
So does that mean if I want to bicycle on this, I want to go down there?
Well, what we actually do is we bring Matheson Winery in, and so we host him in Corrales.
Oh, great.
So we pull a permit and get him at the registration booth, which is at Corrales and Meadowlark. There's like a little frontier mart there.
Oh, yeah.
And so we set up some tents and things like that, and then we kind of create an atmosphere there for him to pour, so that people aren't on the main streets riding their bikes.
Very cool. So what is the idea with this? Do I actually ride my bicycle from winery to winery to winery?
That's exactly what you did.
I love this.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, so people start at the registration booth. We get them, maps on where they're going to go. And then what's so great about it is, the village of Corrales is just it has so much history, and the views are incredible.
Oh, amazing.
So, we start registering around 11, but as long as you start riding by 12, you start getting those really beautiful mountain views, And then, the tastings are included in the ticket, and so then you'll go around and taste at 4 different wineries. You can have a glass there. So it's a full-day event. I mean, you really want to take your time. People walk around the vineyards, and what's great about this time of year is it's harvest time. So the vineyards are like at their peak, The grapes are just fun to see, and the leaves are just, especially with all the rain that we've recently had,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to be just awesome out there.
It's going to be a great year, I think, for wine, too. They told you that it's going to be a good year? I know that during the drought, a lot of the wineries struggled because they just couldn't. The grapes were small, the grapes were tart. This year, does this mean the grapes are going to be larger and more fruity? What does it mean?
It should be a fantastic year for it, really, because, luckily the rain has been consistent and it hasn't been all at once. So it's not like damaging, like root-style rain,
Right.
And it keeps them nice and moist. But the heat is important also, to get the heat, and the sun on the grapes as well. And so the fact that it dries up during the day, then moistens at night, it's just like a win.
It's like the ideal growing weather.
It's ideal, yeah.
I love this.
Yeah,
I love
it's
this.
fantastic.
This is cool. So what do we have here? I mean, what are some of the wineries represented here?
So we have Pasando Tiempo, Corrales Winery, Acequia Winery, and Matheson Winery. And they all, I have my personal favorites at each one. But like Corrales Winery, for example, is doing a really strong Cabernet Sauvignon that I've really piqued my interest for a long time. So as far as reds go, that's just on point. A Malvasia Bianca, or Malvasia from Pasando Tiempo, and that's really nice, especially a nice crisp white wine when you're riding bikes. And
nice cool glass of white wine would be awesome on the bike tour.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
So all of these, all these wineries are award-winning wineries, so they definitely have things to show off. It's good. Yeah,
that's very cool. So I know that you're a wine guy, but you're also a beer guy.
Yes.
And
big beer guy.
You actually even own a brewery.
Yes,
and
Cactus Brewing Company.
Is it Cactus or Cactus?
So it goes back and forth. It is Cactus, the way that it's spelled.
Right, goes with a K.
Yeah, and so what it is, Cactus is the German spelling, cactus. And the reason we chose that is because all of our equipment came from Germany.
Okay.
And yes, we do, out of 8 of our beers, we always have 1 or 2 German-style beers that are on to reflect the equipment and everything.
I like that.
And our beers are a little bit more traditional. now I kind of consider them like European style, and I might be the only one doing that. But the reason for that is because they're a little bit more traditional. The alcohol content is between like 4.5 and 5.9%.
I like some of the other breweries in town.
A little bit more maltier.
Oh man, you can get some like beers that are like 8 and 9%.
Yeah,
like
they're
you
big
can't even
beers.
drink one of them. Like it just.
They scare me away sometimes. I'm
Right,
not gonna lie.
and a lot of the breweries in town make also beer that's super hoppy.
Yeah.
I do have that IPA
Right.
kind of thing that I love, but you guys make stuff. Is it malty that's the opposite of hoppy?
Yeah. Generally speaking, maltiness, crispness, or like a lot of focus on citrus. Really getting those vibrant flavors out of there. And so that's our belief is that the hoppiness. Sometimes you go to a brewery and their Pilsner and their lager is like an IPA. I mean, it's
Right.
just really hoppy, and you can't really distinguish the difference. So when you come down to our place, you definitely, when you try 8 beers, you're getting 8 completely different styles of beer.
Not just different ranges of hoppiness.
Right, exactly.
That's cool. So is beer included in the wine tour? Or is this is only wine this
Yeah,
time?
to be honest with you, unfortunately it's not.
When's the beer tour going to
and-
start then?
Right, exactly. We're going to be, we're actually going to look at putting something together for that very soon. The beers are pretty, the breweries are pretty spread out. There's the brewery district with like
Right.
Nexus, La Cumbre, and those guys, and
Canteen,
Albertino. And so
yeah.
that usually works out, but they're so close that it's almost like a walking tour versus like a biking tour.
No doubt, no doubt.
So we are going to be
I
putting
have done
something
that
together.
walking tour. Thanks to Uber.
Oh, really? Oh,
Uber
nice.
and
There
Lyft,
you go.
yeah.
I know there's lifesavers,
Right?
I love it.
But you can show up and then walk between. Basically, you can get from La Cumbre to Canteen to all of them, and then the new distillery out there. What's happened in the last 5-6 years? The whole alcohol industry in the state has exploded.
Yeah, well, not just in the state, I think nationally, and I think a lot of it had to do with, the changing economy in 2008.
Right.
I think, since we're talking about wine as well, I think what happened, which really piqued the interest of breweries, is that people were changing, their income was changing, and instead of having a $10, $12 glass of wine, they were looking for something that was a little bit more affordable. And so people that didn't normally try craft beers were kind of switching over, trying craft beers. And then the same for like the, people that are typically drinking, your All-American, like your Bud Lights and Millers and things like that.
They realized there was better stuff out there.
Well,
For
yeah,
a
and then
dollar
looking
more,
to
you
fill
can
their
get a
time,
really
they
great
start
beer.
going out to like community breweries, and so they try craft beer for the first time as well, and so it piques their interest. And so you got this social aspect that happens, and so it's just a change, and it's really just taken and stuck.
Sounds like a plan. Well, we're going to check in real quickly with our guys from the Greek Geek Food Truck. And if you guys are in the neighborhood, come on by, say hi. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to have you in the parking lot. Have a awesome, what do they say, Greek quesadilla? Whatever that actually is. I can't wait to try one.
Italian nachos.
I have no idea, but it sounds like fun. Back in a couple of seconds in the Morning Brew.